If you've been scrolling through a dozen 5-wheel hitches, staring at the specs and wondering whether any of them will actually make your life easier on the road, you're not alone. The fear of dropping $100 on a unit that either won't fit your truck, won't handle the weight of your trailer, or just ends up being a headache to use is real. I get that hesitation, especially when a bad hitch can turn a smooth weekend getaway into a whole lot of extra work. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the CURT A30 5-wheel hitch actually brings to the table, and why that matters for someone who's serious about towing a 30,000-pound travel trailer. First off, the self-resetting hand lever is the kind of small engineering trick that only shows up after you've spent a few trips wrestling with traditional release mechanisms. Instead of having to manually pull a lever back into position after each uncouple, the A30 does it automatically. In practice, that means you can pull the trailer away from the hitch, walk a few steps to the cab, and be ready to re-engage without fumbling for a tool or worrying about the lever being left in the wrong spot. For anyone who does more than the occasional pull-out, think weekly trips to a campground or a mobile business setup, that little convenience adds up quickly. The full articulation feature is another practical win. When you're backing into a tight spot, a hitch that can swivel smoothly lets the trailer follow the truck's path without fighting the alignment. It's not a turn-the-world-upside-down kind of articulation. It's a controlled, predictable range that keeps the trailer nose from digging into the ground or causing tire scrub. Real-world users have told me that the difference shows up most when you're trying to maneuver around a narrow RV park entrance or a crowded festival parking lot. You get a smoother, more forgiving experience, especially if you're not a professional driver. Built into the A30 is a 3-position coupling indicator. The green, amber, and red lights give you a quick visual cue that the hitch is fully locked, partially engaged, or not engaged at all. That may sound like a minor detail, but the peace of mind it offers can't be overstated. Imagine it's dark, you're about to leave the campsite, and you just glance at the indicator instead of having to crawl under the trailer to double-check the lock. It cuts down on that "did I really lock it?" moment that many trailer owners admit still haunts them after a few trips. Now, let's talk about the 30,000-pound rating. CURT has tested this hitch to hold that gross combination weight, which means the hitch itself can safely manage the weight of most midsize and larger travel trailers when paired with a properly rated truck. If your trailer's GVWR sits around 20,000 to 28,000 pounds, you're comfortably within the safety margin. However, if you're pulling a heavy-duty fifth wheel with a 40,000-pound rating, this particular model would be under spec, and you'd be better off looking at a higher capacity option. So the first decision point is, does the 30K rating match the trailer you actually own? If yes, you've already filtered out a big chunk of unsuitable products. Installation is where the versatile fit claim comes into play. CURT includes standard legs that bolt onto most common truck frames, and the mounting pattern is designed to line up with the factory-provided holes on many popular pickups. In practice, most owners with a basic set of tools can get the hitch on the weekend, though you'll need a torque wrench and a level to make sure everything is square. The downside is that the process isn't completely plug-and-play. You'll still have to drill or tap a few spots if your truck's frame deviates from the standard layout. For the DI-oriented buyer, that's a manageable task. For someone who wants a A30 no-sweat install, it might feel like a step up in effort. Who should walk away from this hitch? If you're towing a light travel trailer under 10,000 pounds, you're probably overpaying for the capacity you'll never use, and a lighter, cheaper hitch could do the job just fine. If you're on a tight budget and can't spare the extra few $100s for a premium brand with additional features like integrated locking pins or a fully sealed housing, you might want to keep looking. Also, if your truck's